Hello, Aries, and welcome to your love and relationships reading for February 2023. We are going to be taking a look at your connection between you and the person that you're dealing with. The intent of this reading is to look at all three sides of the story because there are three sides to every story. So we've got your version of the truth and your perception, their version of the truth, their perception, and then the higher level unbiased truth here in the middle. Please remember these are general readings. They will not resonate for everyone. In addition, energies might be swapped. So you might resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left. If that is the case, that is totally fine and totally normal. I'm using 7 different decks in this reading. So I've already pulled from the 3 oracle decks that I'm using, or else it would take forever if I did it in the reading. So we'll go over those in a second. I have 3 different tarot decks that I'll be pulling for each side of the situation. And then I have an advice card that I'll be using to pull in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. The last thing I want to mention is please remember that this doesn't just have to be romantic. This could be, a connection to family members, friends, coworkers, whatever comes to mind when I am reading is the connection that you are dealing with. Okay. All right, Aries, on your side of the connection, you have greatness with adjustments are required. So I feel like you see this connection as it has a lot of potential. It has a lot of potential for greatness. However, you do feel like there are some changes that need to be made before you feel comfortable investing your all in this connection. And that's a good place to be because that means that you are kind of protecting yourself a little bit, which the overall energy for this reading is growth and protection. So make sure, make sure that you are kind of protecting yourself right now. If you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like the relationship isn't aligning with you and your values, then maybe it is time to kind of pull back a little bit. On this side of the connection, you have nothing is yet set in stone with, they have nothing is yet set in stone with authentic expression. So to them, this connection is super up in the air. And I feel like they have no idea how to communicate. Like, I feel like this person struggles with being honest with themselves. And I feel like, very frustrating for you. And between this connection, you have balance, spirituality, and practicality with the emptiness card. So right now, the truth of this connection is that there needs to be space for balance because I feel like you might focus too much on the logical aspect, maybe too much on the emotional aspect, and, possibly if you feel like you're dealing with a spiritual connection, too much on the spiritual aspect. And there's a need to kind of find a bit of balance between all of those things. And that means that there's a little bit of space that's needed, like kind of pulling back from your perceptions and trying to see if you're seeing things from a clear space. But let's see. Let's dive in, Aries, to your side of this connection. This is Aries' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Aries' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Aries' side of this connection, please. Clarifying adjustments are required and greatness. This is Aries' side of the connection. You are isolating. There's a little bit of isolation going on. I don't know if you're isolating from this connection, but I feel like you're very withdrawn from your environment. It could be because this connection kind of pushed you over the edge, but with the well in reverse, you're kind of holding on to control a little bit. There's a need to kind of let things flow. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. Sorry about that. That was weird. I haven't sneezed all day. So there's a little bit it's like there's this need to go within, right? There's a need to spend some time on your own. And I feel like you did that. And now it's almost you've withdrawn too much. It's almost to the point of loneliness, or this connection makes you feel lonely. Even if you're with someone, you're feeling lonely. That could be another thing too. It's not your decision. It just kind of is how things feel. Your side of the connection to the person that you're dealing with. And I feel like maybe that's where the adjustments are needed. It's maybe this isn't the right connection for you at this time. Who knows though? I pulled one card. All right, you have the 6 of Cups in reverse, the Ace of Wands, and the World in reverse. So right now, I feel like there might be a level of this connection has been in your life for so long that it's kind of just a little bit it's a part of who you are in a way. And I feel like that's maybe why with this growth card, there might be a level of growing out of it that might have happened or might be currently happening or need to happen. Now, that doesn't mean that the connection can't come back together in a healthy way in the future, but I do feel like there's a little a level of maybe you've grown out of the connection, or I don't know, there's just something about your past here. It's the passion for this connection exists in the past. And it's almost like you're trying to get back to how things once were. I feel like might be the thing here. But you can't live, you can't live for the potential of a connection. You can't live for hoping that a connection returns to what it once was, because that's living in either the future or the past, and living in the present moment is the goal. Let's see, Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Oh yeah, there's a lot of fear. I mean, and I feel like maybe that's the thing, is maybe that like this connection's run its course, but you're having a hard time coming to terms with walking away from it, because you are very confused. You're very overwhelmed right now. I feel like you don't really know what to do, where to go, because you do have hope for the potential of this connection. And I think that that's really, that means something for sure. But I also feel at the same time that you want to make sure you're not living for the hope, right? You don't want to live for the potential of something, because you're living that at that point you're kind of living for something that doesn't exist. Yeah, it's almost like if this connection isn't working out, that it's almost like, it's that idea. It's like, if you don't get what you want, it's because you deserve better. Like rejection or like things not working out for you is a sign from the universe that you deserve better, and that they're protecting you from what you don't deserve. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but there is a level of like needing to kind of maybe come to terms with the fact that if this isn't giving you what you deserve, then maybe it's, maybe it's not for you at this time. Aries side of the connection to the person they're dealing with, because you do deserve better. You deserve greatness in connections. So you're coming to the end of a cycle here, the Nine of Wands in reverse, because you're very frustrated with this connection. There's no doubt about that. With the Queen of Wands in reverse, you're very frustrated. However, let me get clarity. I want to get clarity on this Nine of Wands, because I feel like clarity on the Nine of Wands in reverse, please. Yeah, this connection, it makes you feel very lonely. And you're afraid to move in a different direction. You have the Chariot and the Five of Swords. You're afraid to move in a different direction because you feel like, that could be a fear of being alone. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but just take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It could be a fear of being alone. It could be a fear of never finding something better for yourself. Like, it really does kind of come down to like, okay, what are you holding on to? Because this connection doesn't feel like it's providing you with the happiness that you're looking for in connections like this. And this could be a friend too, like almost like you've outgrown a friend and it's time to kind of walk away, but you're having a hard time with that because they've been, by your side for so long, or something like that. That could be something too. Aries side of the connection to the person they're dealing with. You're having a hard time figuring out what aligns with you. And right now, this connection kind of feels like a burden. Now, on the other side of things, you could be kind of taken on this person's stuff. Like, you have empathy for why they are the way they are. And especially for empathetic people, it's really easy to get lost in that and to take it on and to bear that burden and say, well, I'm going to stand by you even though you're dealing with all of this. I don't know. There's just a level of like needing to put yourself first here. And however that means to you, because there has been a lot of growth, I feel like, that you've been through, and maybe this person hasn't really been through a lot of that growth, and it's been really hard for you to keep and maintain this connection because you feel like you've outgrown it. Like you just don't feel like this connection aligns with you anymore. This person has been such a part of your path, though. I feel like it's hard for you to imagine them not being a part of your path, but like, I don't know, it just feels like this connection is like, from your perspective, run its course. Aries side of the connection. I don't know if that's something that you're afraid to admit to yourself or what. But that's why it's almost like there's like, because there's like a need to kind of like, let me see. Let's just pull one more card. Okay. There it is. Aries, I don't even think you really want this connection anymore. Nine of Pentacles in reverse, Eight of Cups in reverse, and the Hierophant. But there's a level of you that believes that like nothing will take its place, even if you're dealing with a friendship. I don't know exactly what it is that's keeping you from walking away, but I can tell you that every time you choose yourself and you walk away from what doesn't serve you anymore, you always open the door for what does. Always, always, always. We can't hold on to what doesn't serve us and receive what does at the same time. It's an exchange of energy. And it's almost like you need to release what doesn't serve you to gain what does. Now, even if this is this connection, it's like releasing it for the time being doing, healing and doing what you need to kind of focus on yourself, and then maybe it comes back together in the future. I'm not sure, but I do feel like from your perspective, this connection's run its course. And I feel like that you've just been kind of hard, like there's been this fear of like admitting it to yourself, because you do see the potential, you have this greatness, but you also have adjustments are required. You recognize that this person's got to make some adjustments before you're able to fully, give yourself to it. So I get that. But let's see what this person's dealing with. Let's just see what their energy towards this is, because they feel like this connection's up in the air too. The person Aries is dealing with side of the connection to Aries. The person that Aries is dealing with side of the connection to Aries, this person needs to learn to speak their mind, I feel like. And I feel like they just don't. And that frustrates you, I believe. I feel like that's why you feel lonely. Like you do. You're feeling like a loneliness in this connection that you don't deserve. Oh, this person's really focusing on their material world. They're really focusing on the material world right now. Like I feel like they're not even they're trying to keep this connection out of their mind. I feel like this is someone who just does not know how to face their emotions. Because yeah, they have this authentic expression card, and that doesn't mean that like, oh, they're wanting to authentically express their feelings for you. That's not what I feel. I feel like they just don't know how. And that's like a level of emotional growth that I feel like you've obviously been through, and they haven't. And I feel like that's where the disconnect is. But let's see. The person Aries is dealing with, there it is. They fear you walking away for good. They have the Eight of Swords with the Eight of Cups in reverse, but they also, it's like they fear you walking away, but they like kind of are digging their heels in, and they're almost like I should be loved for who I am. Like I shouldn't have to change. Well, yeah, actually you should, right? Like if you're not able to express yourself in an authentic way, and if you're focusing too much on the material world, then like, yeah, there's a need to make adjustments. And if this person isn't willing to meet you halfway, then Aries, you deserve better. So understand, this connection doesn't work out. That's the universe protecting you from what you don't deserve, and leading you to what does. But to you, I feel like it just feels like a loss right now. Obviously, I feel like honestly, even then, like you don't even feel that much of an emotional loss. You just feel a lot of fear of the loss of it. And I get that. There's a little bit of fear of walking away, because you're like, well, then what? Like, is there anything in it that's going to replace it? Because again, this has been part of your path for so long now that I feel like it's been hard for you to, it's hard for you to imagine your life without this person. Okay, the person that Aries is dealing with side of the connection to Aries. This person's trapped in like quite a few self-limiting beliefs. I feel like they have a tendency to, interesting. It's you for them. They've decided like they want you. Like it's interesting because it's like they're still, it maybe feels like they haven't chose you, but it's like they want this to work, but they aren't sure. I feel like on a certain level, this might not be conscious. They don't know if they have what it takes to make this connection work. I don't think you think this person has what it takes to make this connection work. They have what it takes, but it's going to take some inner work for them. And I feel like that's just something that this person is not super willing to do. And if that's the case, Aries, then like you deserve better. Because yeah, there's the lovers. I mean, they kind of view you as a really like a soulmate energy. But I also feel like at the same time, they aren't super willing to change. Like they're really digging their heels in here. I feel like this person is super stubborn. The person Aries is dealing with side of the connection to Aries. Person that Aries is dealing with side of the connection to Aries. There it is. Fear of vulnerability. Knight of Wands in reverse with the King of Swords in reverse. This person doesn't know how to be vulnerable. And it's ultimately because they're super unsure of themselves. Like I feel like, it's hard. And something my therapist once told me that like totally opened my eyes. I was like, whoa, how have I never seen that before? Is she was like, you tend to get upset at people for not being able to provide you what you deserve when they're not capable of it. And so you get upset with them when in reality that relationship just isn't meant for you. And I was like, well, it like opened my eyes, and I was like, I've never looked at it that way. And that's where it's like, you don't want to carry their burden. You don't want to say, I know you might not be capable of open and vulnerable communication, but that's not really my problem. And that's something you're going to have to work through before I'm going to be open to this connection. And I feel like that's where this is coming from, is it's like this person's super unsure of themselves. So they don't know how to be vulnerable, because it's not that they're not, they don't know how to be vulnerable. It's not that they're like actively saying, like, not trying to be vulnerable with you. They don't know how, and they don't know how to be vulnerable with themselves because they live their life in the 3D. They don't live their life in their 5D world, so they don't know how to be vulnerable with themselves. So that makes it really hard for them to be vulnerable with you. And it stems from them just not being super sure of themselves. They don't, it's almost like because the King of Swords in reverse can also come with like a little bit of manipulation. Like they control their surroundings because they don't like things getting too close because they don't know how to handle it when it does. And it's Aries, that's just honestly not your problem, and I'm not saying this person doesn't deserve love, but they've got to love themselves, right? Like they've got to love themselves first. This person's energy toward Aries. Yeah. This person's really emotional right now, but they're look at that. You have the Five of Swords, you have the Ace of Cups in reverse, the Knight of Cups, and the Page of Cups in reverse. Like this person freaking represses. They don't face their emotions. They tend to be more defensive. I feel like they do not know how to be vulnerable with themselves. And again, it's because I said that, I felt that when I pulled the first card. This person is a runner. They run from the things that are hard to face. And you've done so much growing that you're like, come on, like I see the potential. If you could just do this growing, if you could just heal, if you could just, learn to be emotionally vulnerable, then we could be really good, or this connection could be really good. But the thing is that's just not your problem. And the more that you take that on, the more you're going to find yourself being drained and disappointed because your energy deserves energy that matches it, and this person just doesn't match your energy. They don't know how. They don't know how to meet you there. They're on a lower vibration than you, to be completely honest, and that's why you have this protection card, is you're being protected from that because you don't want to be dragged down to their level. This person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries. Lots of overthinking. Woo! They don't feel too happy right now. They're feeling this Ten of Swords. I want to get clarity on this because I don't know if I don't feel like they feel betrayed by you. They better not, because you've helped. I feel like you've helped them a lot. Like you're the one over here feeling lonely in this connection. Clarifying this Ten of Swords. Or maybe they betrayed you and they're doing a lot of overthinking on that. That could be something. Clarifying this Ten of Swords. Yeah, they're having kind of a little bit of an awakening right now because the Hierophant and the Judgment, that's some pretty major energy. Like they're kind of opening up to like a different like perspective here. So some sort of betrayal took place and they're overthinking it. I don't feel like you betrayed them. In fact, I feel like it's quite the opposite. I feel like I don't know, it doesn't need to be like an extreme betrayal, but I feel like there was definitely a betrayal that took place and now they're like overthinking that. I don't know. I feel like this person with the Hierophant here, they're learning a lot. They are, and I feel like, but to get on your level, it's gonna take them. They're gonna have to wake the up. Like they're shoving so much down, and I feel like you're like, yeah, I know they do that. Then what are you doing? What are you doing investing in this person? Because you deserve so much better than this. I feel like you know that too. I think, yeah, I know. You're like, yeah, I know, I'm aware. But there's a fear of walking away, and I get that because this person has obviously been a part of your life for so long that it doesn't have to be like a super long time, but in a way that like they've become such an important part of your life that it's hard to imagine your life without them. And I get that. But also at the same time, like, is that really a reason to hold on to someone that just clearly is like not it right now? Like they're just not. And I say that with love for this person because the thing is the more that you enable this person and you give them love and you take on their stuff and you wait for them or whatever the case is, the more that you're just giving them more reasons to not have to deal with their stuff. It's like that energy of like, or that concept of like walking away from somebody who doesn't know how to, like, walking away from someone you love and choosing yourself is one of the bravest, the best thing you can do for yourself and them. Because of course it's choosing you, and that again, letting go of what doesn't serve you opens the door for what does. But on the other hand, it's pushes them to heal too. Otherwise they're gonna be like, oh well, Aries sticks around, so I guess I don't really need to deal with my stuff. But they do, because they don't they don't got their emotional world in balance at all right now. But okay, we are going to hop on over to the extended balance, spirituality, and practicality with the emptiness card. I'm going to pull 9 different cards, so 9 different messages for this. Plus, I'm sure some clarification here and there. I have the advice deck that I'll pull from Spirit at the very end. Thank you guys so much, as always, for the support of my channel. This is my livelihood, so it means the absolute world to me. I hope that this reading helped and provided you with some clarity, and I do hope to see you back in future readings. All right, bye, Aries.